it wouldn't make sense. It's a book. How would it not make sense? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have been flirting with the idea of doing a YouTube for a little bit, but I think deep down I have wanted to create a YouTube for a really long time. Like, probably years, if we're being honest. Recently, I've been seeking the Lord. I feel like he kind of put it on me and I was like, because you know when God tells you to do something, usually you don't want to do it. So you're like, that's God. But when it's something you do want, you just have to really make sure it's him, because you're like, is that me or is that him? So I was really trying to make sure that he was about that life before I get about this life. I'm excited. He gave the green light. So here we are. Hi, first of all, wow. My name is Tanisha. Friends call me Tish. I am 31 years old, currently reside in Dallas, Texas, and I reside in Dallas, Texas because the Lord has put me down here. I was born and raised in the Midwest. I recently lived in Cincinnati for 6 years before coming to Texas. Today I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my testimony. Well, let's just take it all the way back. Start from the beginning. I was raised in the church. I was raised going to church every Sunday, basically. I would say that I was much more of a believer rather than a follower. I didn't know that there was a difference. I was raised on religion mostly, and I don't blame my parents for that. I think that that is just all they knew, and it's all a lot of people know. A lot of people just know religion. They do not know relationship with God. And so growing up, it was, we went to God for things we needed. So God was like a genie. We also would be told, the big man upstairs is watching whenever we were acting up. So to me, God was just this far off, not mythical, but far off kind of disconnected being that you went to when you were in a bind and really needed help, but also he was ready to judge you and punish you in a heartbeat. That's kind of what I knew of God. But I didn't have any concept or honestly awareness to invite God in to my life unless I was in trouble. Then it was, God help me, get me out of this XYZ. I didn't understand that we could and should invite God into the everyday of our life because he cares about that. He cares about the details of our lives. That was basically my life. I've always believed in him. I've never not believed in God. I've never said God's not real. I've never not believed in heaven, any of that. I did have a little stint getting involved in New Age practices, which is a big, big no-no. But, I was in the world. I was just believing. I wasn't really following. I wasn't reading my Bible. Again, I knew what I knew from Bible study growing up, and that's it. I got into New Age stuff, and my thing, even in that, my thinking was God is at the top. He is the president. He's at the top. He's the big heavy hitter, the head. The universe is below him and just does, whatever he says. But the universe is the presidential cabinet or something. Satan is certainly a deceiver. To have you out here following doctrines of demons, but still having a way to tie it back to God somehow, what a crock of pill. I actually did not know that any of that was bad. Again, I still believed in God. 100% still believed in Jesus. Still believed in Christianity. Still believed in the kingdom. But also had that going on. In 2015, I actually had my rock bottom moment, I guess as you can say. I was sexually assaulted. I did not realize that I was assaulted at the time. I didn't think of it that way. I didn't want to think of it that way because who does? I thought I was being punished. I thought that the Lord was punishing me. And so that moment actually, in a super awful traumatic event, brought me back to God for real. And I was like, all right, I need to get my life together and do what I need to do so that bad things don't happen to me. Basically was my thinking. Very distorted. But, God will take everything that is meant for evil and turn it for good, okay? And that's exactly what he did in that situation for me. And I had two friends that were in the faith. And so when, I hit that point in my life, I was like, I just need to get on track. I don't know what to do. I asked my one friend, I was like, how do you read the Bible? Because Okay, semi-good reason, all right? When I was growing up in Bible study, this girl said that her dad said not to read the Bible from front to back because it wouldn't make sense. It's a book. How would it not make sense? It's the story. Like, you can't start in Genesis. Girl. That, for some reason, stuck with me my whole life. And so I believe, now that I'm an adult, her dad meant, like, chronologically. You know, there's some books that, like, the events in there are happening at the same time or before events in this book. So chronologically, I get that. But in general, babe, it's a story. Start, finish. And so I remember I texted my friend and asked her, like, how do you read the Bible? Because I had that weird thought. She actually sent me a study Bible that I have to this day. Where is it? It's downstairs. It is toe up. It is worn out. But you know, I'm still here and kicking, amen. So that was in 2015. I started reading the Bible, really just trying to seek God. And then in 2016, I found a church in Cincinnati, a church home. And I remember I was so nervous to go. And I remember the very first time I went, I walked in and they were doing a series called Death to Religion. And it was all about, you know, the religion aspect, that dying and coming into true relationship with Christ. And I was like, this right here, the Lord be knowing. I really enjoyed that church, went back, got involved in the church, started serving. It took me a little bit, but eventually started serving. I got baptized again as an adult. You know, I really was seeking the Lord. And then I was also complaining to him about my purpose and what I should be doing. Everyone was talking about like purpose, and calling and purpose projects. Everyone seemed to be doing something. They were doing something. And I wanted to do something too. And I was like, what is my purpose? Just tell me, what am I meant to do? I was dramatic with it, y'all. Then in 2017, I think it was like summertime, July, August, something like that, the Lord told me to write a book. I was like, bet we can do it. I like took off. And you know, the hardest thing about writing a book is actually writing a book. I could plan all day, outline all day, but to write the book, girl, it was a struggle. And it took me entirely too long. It was not good. So 2017 comes and goes. 2018 comes and goes. 2019, it's still there. When I say it was on me, I couldn't get away from it even if I wanted to, which I did. I'm not getting it done. Let me escape. God said no. In 2019, he gave me the idea to make it a devotional, which actually, when I look back at my old journals, I had written down like devotional ? I was like, bet. A devotional is easy because it is like broken down content by day versus a whole book. It's like a whole book is too much. Still, y'all. 2019 ended, 2020 came in, and he sat me down basically. He exposed the living life out of me. I actually wrote a blog post. I was like, all right, we gotta get the book done. Like, it's gotta get done this year. This was pre-Rona, okay? And you would think like, oh, they put us in the house. I work in IT, so it was opposite for me, and my career kind of ramped up in 2020. But finally, in November 2020, on Thanksgiving actually, I published my devotional, Letters to the Lord. It's a 21-day devotional about what does it take to follow God. And each day is just a little nugget, a little lesson that I've learned on my walk with Christ. It's just written, sharing my story, sharing more of my testimony, what I've learned on my walk. It's meant to be relatable. It's meant to be, hey, I'm a human being just like you, trying to walk this thing out just like you. Here's what I've learned. That is available on Amazon if y'all are interested. But before I published the devotional, I launched my blog, Meet Tish. That was to get some of my writing style out there before I launched the devotional. Again, it was just like a struggle. It kind of fell off. And in February 2021, the Lord actually told me to move to Texas. It was a whole thing. Finally, I put my house on the market in April. We closed end of May, beginning of June because it got pushed. And then I got to Texas. You know, kind of ignoring the blog the whole time. It's just back there like, Before I even published the devotional, he gave me 2 other things to do, 2 other assignments. I was like, dang. Like, can I get one done? I had started on one of those assignments, but it just wasn't vibing. I feel like it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the anointed time for it. Late last year, I kind of dug it back up, and I was trying to fit that assignment into this template I had, into this idea that I had, and it wasn't meshing. And then I feel like I got a new idea just dropped on me, and I was like, bet But again, you know, I was dragging my feet a little bit. Finally, at the beginning of this year, beginning of 2022, the Lord was like, you have got to get this done. Like, we have things to do. You've got to get this done. I finally finished the Grow Your Faith workbook, and I launched that right before my 31st birthday. The Grow Your Faith workbook, it's a digital workbook that's really focused on different activities and applicable things that you can do in your life to increase your faith. Because faith is so important. Like, faith in Jesus, faith in Christ, faith in the kingdom, that is so important. Having faith in general is so crucial in this walk. Having faith, keeping your faith, increasing your faith, standing in your faith is so important. Grow Your Faith workbook has a special place in my heart because faith is just, like, the gift of faith is something I believe I have, because I'll be out here believing for a lot. And that is available on my site, so feel free to check that out. I'll link my blog below, actually. Anyways, got that done in, you know, April 2022. I was ready to get back to the other assignments, but I feel like the Lord was kind of pressing pause on me just to rest out. And he led me into getting deliverance. So I was dealing with that process like May, June, July. I had my deliverance in July through Flawed and Free Ministry. Hey y'all, if you're watching. Truly, truly, truly life-changing. Absolutely life-changing. And I actually did a broadcast with them with their Tea and Testimony series. I'll link that below if you all are interested in hearing about my deliverance journey. I also did a blog post series about it, and I go into the nitty-gritty. Demons that I had that I got delivered from, my experience, if I manifested, how I manifested, all the things. It's all on the blog. Since deliverance, I went back to the blog a little bit. I was like pouring them out. Like, I had, I think, 5 blog posts done within a week versus 0 blog posts over a year. But it wasn't, like, it was vibing in the beginning. I was really excited about it. And then, you know, I was trying to do them and they just weren't, there was like friction. And I was getting upset because I wanted to be super consistent. And then one day I just had the thought, like, consistent for who? Like, who's defining what consistency means for you in this blog? I was like, that's a great question. I realized the blog needs to be whenever the Lord wants to do something through me, put it out in the blog. But if it's not flowing and not vibing, I have to check and say, okay, God, is this resistance that I'm hitting? Or is this because it's not an anointed time for this content? In the back of my mind this whole time, I've always like been in love with video. You can ask my old coworkers. I would get really into it. Any work project that would involve video, I would burn the midnight oil. I would go ham. I would get focused. I would lock in, heads down. Like, I would be obsessed. A lot of times when I would be blogging and trying to write my posts, I'm like, this would be so much easier if I could just record it. Babe, start a YouTube. Obviously that's the solution, but so I'm really excited for this channel. You know, I've been thinking about YouTube for a while. I feel like since my deliverance, God has kind of been giving me the inkling on YouTube, and I've been kind of like, because it's like a new territory, it's something brand new. But let me tell you, time out, quick 30 on the field. With me, if I'm gonna do something, I care about like doing it and doing it well, doing it completely, doing it perfect before I put something out there. So that is why I'd be dragging my feet sometimes. For me, I just have a hard time working with the back camera on my iPhone. You know why? Because I can't see myself. And then I learned that all these little YouTubers got these cameras with the screen that flips out. And I was like, it makes sense. I've been really sitting with him because if he's not in this, I'm not trying to do it. Okay? Especially with buying things, investing financially. If he's not in it, this stuff is not cheap. I feel like he gave me the green light to go ahead and do it. I sowed my seed, amen. I ordered the camera, all the things, and here we are. I'm excited for the YouTube. I'm excited to be here to have this channel. I plan to share things I've learned on my walk with Christ and other tidbits on my testimony. A lot of lifestyle content as a single woman in her 30s in Dallas, Texas, navigating that, navigating being a Christian in this world, and navigating the joys of things like home ownership, trying to get your house together with home decor, home organization, being a dog mom, trying to get your life together with beauty and skincare, and trying to get these fits together, because that's just, I need to level up in some areas, okay? So that's what my content is going to be all about. If the Lord wants to speak through me about something, very much something, I'm giving him agency to do that. My wealth transfer video that I released is a perfect example of that. I did not plan for that to be my first video. I wanted my first video to be something official, and that's not how it went down. So, if you're interested in following my life, getting to know more about me, hearing more about my testimony and what I've learned in my walk, as well as just what I've learned in life, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can see instantly when I post new content. Go ahead and give a thumbs up if you like this video. Let me know what kind of content you want to see in the comments. There's a lot of ideas up here. We just got to execute on them. We're just starting out. So there's a lot that's going to be being posted. There's a lot of variety. So let me know what you all think in the comments. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!